Hi everyone, welcome back to FoxLearn. In the previous video, we learned how to download and install Report Viewer for Visual Studio 2022, how to create a simple report, and how to display it in a Windows Forms app. In this video, we're going to learn how to create and print an invoice using Blazor in ASP.NET Core. This is a simple web application built with ASP.NET Core Blazor that lets you store and print invoices. First, open Visual Studio and click Create a New Project. Choose Blazor Web App as the project type. Enter a name for your project, then click Next. Select the latest .NET version. For the interactive render mode, choose Server. Then click Create. Once the project is created, click the Run button to start and test it. We'll use Entity Framework Core to save data in a SQL database. Start by creating a folder named Models. Inside that folder, add two classes, Order and Order Detail. In the Order class, add basic properties like ID, Order ID, customer name, order date, and a list of order details. In the Order Detail class, add properties such as ID, item name, price, quantity, and total. Since we don't want to store total in the database, mark it with the Not Mapped attribute. Now, create a new folder named Data. After that, open Manage NuGet Packages, search for Entity Framework Core, and install the following packages. We install these packages so we can work with the SQL database using C# code without writing SQL by hand. Inside the data folder, create a class called Application DB Context. Then, make the class inherit from DB Context. This tells Entity Framework Core that it will manage the database connection and handle your data models. To configure Entity Framework Core, open the program.cs file. Then, add code to register the DB context and read the connection string from the appsettings.json file. Go ahead and open the appsettings.json file, then add your SQL connection string. Here, I'll create an empty database for demo purposes. Once the connection string is added, run the migration commands to create tables. If everything is correct, the tables will be generated automatically in your SQL database. Next, we'll create a new project to design the RDLC report. For simplicity, choose Class Library as the project template. Right-click on your project and add a new RDLC report file. After that, we'll create a new dataset. Inside the dataset, add a data table named Order Details. Make sure the columns match the properties in the Order Detail class. To design the report, just open the RDLC file. If you have Microsoft RDLC Report Designer installed, the Report Designer interface will appear. If not, you can watch my previous video. I'll leave a link in the comments below. Let's add a header and footer. The header will display the invoice title along with the order information. The footer will show the page number, and the body section will display the invoice details. Add the dataset as a data source for the report. To do this, click on Data Sources, then Add New. Select the dataset we created and choose the Order Details table as your data source. Next, add report parameters that match the order fields, like invoice ID, customer name, and order date. In the header, add a text box to display the title, then drag the report parameters into place to show the invoice information. In the body, add a table, then drag and drop the dataset columns into the table. To show row numbers automatically, select the first column, then use the expression editor to add row number with the argument set to nothing. To show the grand total, drag the total field into the body. RDLC will automatically calculate the sum. You can format the columns and show currency by using the Format function to style them as money. Finally, in the footer, add a text box and use an expression to show the page number. Once the report is ready, create a folder called Reports in your Blazor project. Then copy the RDLC report file into that folder. Make sure to set the report's property to copy to output directory. Now, create a Razor page named Invoice. Add a link to the nav menu so users can access the invoice page easily. In the invoice page, declare the order and order detail objects. Then, write functions to add and remove items from the order detail list. For the layout, use these Blazor input components: input text for text fields, input date for dates, and input number for numbers. For the Add Item button, bind the click event to call the Add Detail function. Do the same for the Remove button. Create a table to display the order detail items with a header, body, and a footer showing the grand total. Create a function called print invoice. When you click the Print Invoice button, this function will be called. It first saves the order, then calls an API to generate and open the invoice report. We will create a folder named Controllers. Inside it, add an API controller called Report Controller. You need to inject application DB context in order to access the database. Create an action called Generate Invoice that will render the RDLC report into a PDF file. In this action, find the order by its ID and load the related order details. To render the RDLC report in ASP.NET Core, you can install the following NuGet package. This library is ported from the .NET framework and is not an official Microsoft package. After installing, create a local report instance and set its report path. Pass in the parameters using values from the order object. Also add the dataset as a data source to the report. Finally, call the render method to export the report to a PDF file. To use the API in your Blazor app, open the program.cs file. Then, add the following line to configure and enable API controller support. That's it for today's video. You've learned how to build and print an RDLC invoice report in ASP.NET Core using Blazor. Thanks for watching. If this tutorial was helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you won't miss our latest videos.